like it or not. For the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand.
I love bad movies. To explain, when I say bad movies, I don't mean intentionally bad movies. There's a whole genre of those, and if you're interested, look into a production company called The Asylum. What I'm talking about is low-budget films with an honest filmmaker who believes in the integrity of their vision, but is completely incompetent and has no idea how to utilize their limited budget to their advantage. Good examples would be Tommy Wiseau's film The Room.
Hi.
Can I help you?
Yeah, can I have a dozen red roses, please?
Oh, hi, Johnny. I didn't know it was you. Here you go.
That's me. How much is it?
It'll be $18.
Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy.
You're my favorite customer.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Or another classic, Suburban Sasquatch.
Hey, stop farting around.
Oh no!
And he killed him! He's dead? He killed him!
He threw it so hard.
He threw it with such force!
It shattered his entire chest cavity.
I love these movies because I'm entertained by watching a director's vision completely fail, and by watching the movie magic bleed away out of the screen through poorly shot and poorly crafted special effects. While low-budget films can be a treasure trove of good ideas, more often than not, they're a treasure trove of failed good ideas, and there is no better example of this than Neil Breen.
Hi, thanks for checking out my crowdfunding site. My name is Neil Breen. I'm a filmmaker. It's a sci-fi, a science fiction drama. Twisted, dirty, dark, edgy.
Neil is an architect out of Nevada, but in his spare time, he's a filmmaker. He directs, writes, stars, and does pretty much everything in these movies, relying on a small stable of local actors, some of which I suspect are his personal friends.
Neil Breen, he's done it again! Neil Breen! Oh my God!
Everything about his movies is wrong, and I mean everything. The acting is terrible, with every single line delivered in the worst possible way it could be.
The only monsters here are the pimps, dealers, and smugglers. Killing and abusing people, trying to get a better life for themselves. Sneaking into this country, illegally.
The set design is minimal and underwhelming. This is supposed to be a hospital. A hospital with carpeted floors. Perhaps worst, or best, of all, the stories of the movies are extremely poorly developed and terribly explained. For instance, this scene, which breaks the rules of storytelling 101. Show, don't tell.
All this time, I haven't been working on my next book. I've hacked into the most secret government and corporate secrets. The most secret.
So, how does Neil Breen relate to flat earthers? Well, let me explain a few things about his films, and maybe you'll start to see the similarities. Breen is one of those filmmakers who seems to be slowly perfecting his own vision by making the same movie over and over again, presumably in an attempt to execute it perfectly in the final film. Another example of a filmmaker like this is Don Dohler, who made films about aliens landing among rednecks and aliens landing among rednecks. Neil, on the other hand, his first film was called Double Down, in which Neil starred as an unstoppable cyber-terrorist hell-bent on driving the evil out of the Las Vegas Strip.
Anytime.
Are
you connecting the car with your cell phone?
Yes! Oh my God! He hacked the car with a flip phone!
His next film, I Am Here Now, kicks things up a notch, by having Neil play Cyber Jesus, who has returned to Earth in order to drive all the evil out of the world.
I'm so happy we're watching this. And I feel bad for everybody. I feel bad
His follow-up was Fateful Findings, in which he plays a best-selling author who is hacking government agencies in order to drive all the evil out of the world.
That guy. Unabomber.
Oh, from his super secret hacking.
Hey, it's 90 minutes in and we have an antagonist. Great.
I know.
After that, Pass-Through, where Neil plays an artificial intelligence from the distant future intent on driving all the evil out of the world.
The camera's moving!
For a second, it looked fine.
Yeah, it almost looked okay.
Lastly, his latest film, Twisted Pair, has Neil starring as a pair of genetically modified twins who are attempting to drive the evil out of the world.
And I love Neil, just, again, he repeats everything a million times. He's like, the final human invention, AI, artificial intelligence.
The final human invention, AI, artificial intelligence.
Yep, we know what AI is, Neil. Okay,
Thanks,
great.
Neil
Thanks.
Breen.
Thank you for that.
I was approaching a robotic, humanoid state.
So, as you can see, Neil has some themes that he likes. You may already be seeing the parallels to the Flat Earth world. Government corruption, exposing conspiracies, and so forth. However, just like a Flat Earther, Neil's understanding of these issues is frighteningly primitive and underdeveloped. Let's take a look at this scene from the end of Fateful Findings, in which numerous top dogs commit suicide after being exposed by Neil's top-notch hacking skills.
I want to be honest with all of you. I've been hacking into government and corporate systems all over the country. All over the world. I have discovered more information than any hacker ever has. Ever. What I have found will shock you. Here are the files and supporting documents. And supporting truths. The factual documents.
Money, payoffs, and greed were always the priority of my company, like many companies. I'm afraid of going to prison. They now know my crimes.
I am resigning today as your senator. The people who elected me deserve someone who cares about them and the country.
I resign today as president of the bank.
For their lying, their greed, their injustices.
We were all under pressure to operate in a deceiving way and cheat the customer.
The simplicity of the dialogue in this scene reminds me of the way Flat Earthers view space agencies. The venture of space exploration across the entire planet is, in a Flerfs world, just NASA and the few puppets it controls. The complicated and admittedly horribly corrupt system of financial institutions across the world, in Neil's view, is just the bank. You know, that one bank.
As president of the bank.
Same thing with the Wall Street brokers. Neil fails to realize that the majority of those are just everyday people who choose to take part in the world of the stock exchange. Similarly, Flat Earthers fail to realize how far-reaching exploration of space goes. Not only is NASA not the only space agency, but all space agencies utilize various contractors to construct vehicles and equipment, and also utilize the assistance of university and college campuses, as well as many other meteorology, oceanography, and aeronautics associations. Like in all realms of science, research and work is done by basically all of humanity, each relevant field adding its input to a final product that represents the best of the best. Let's take a look at another one of Neil's films, Pass-Through. This one has a similar scene to Fateful Findings in which Neil addresses the viewer directly and basically just philosophizes to the camera.
Human evolution has ended, and there can be no further advancement. The turning point is now. There are genetic and psychological limits to the primitive human species, and you have reached those limits. You have demonstrated your inability to live in a truthful, honest, trustworthy, and accountable way with your fellow man. Illegal wars, the abuse of the media systems, films, TV, radio, the internet. It's insulting. The glorification of violence and corruption, as well as political correctness and the fear of the truth, has ruined the human species. I have eliminated 300 million humans from the planet today. In human terms, I have killed them all. These were humans that were harmful to other humans. They were cheats, thieves, criminals, liars, abusers, corruptors.
Oh man, I love Neil Breen. That's some good shit, man. That's some really good shit. Do you see how vague and nebulous his conspiracy is? Like the flat earth ever-faceless they, it ends up consisting of damn near everyone. They at least have a handful of key names they can regurgitate, like Wernher von Braun, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Einstein, Newton, and so forth, but there's still no substantial links drawn. Flat earthers are like that guy with the corkboard with photos connected by strings and thumbtacks, except there's no string or no thumbtacks.
Fuck if I know.
So I guess this all begs the big question. Why is the globe conspiracy so poorly developed and poorly explained? The answer to me seems obvious. Because it doesn't exist. By its very nature, it cannot exist. All of science, and by extension all of space exploration, is a collective effort undertaken by all of humanity. Every country is involved, every business, every engineer, and every factory line worker. This is why a flat earther can't tell you who they is. Because they're everywhere and everyone. They're you and me. There is no globe conspiracy. There's only reality. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel, which is Dead Kennedy in Space. If you want to support me further, consider donating on Patreon or purchasing some of my work through Amazon or Teespring. Thank you, and I'll see you over the curve, Space Cowboys.
Live there, on the mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam, in a vast cosmic arena.